parent of an athlete, absolutely the kids are definitely giving up on when sports were stopped. They said, okay, fine. When my son was they went through a couple steps into the football playoffs, and they absolutely were much more restricted with where they were going, what they were doing. They were not hanging out with anyone but their team. And now that it's over and it's taken away again, and they're beyond frustrated, and they are so done with this that they don't even care anymore. And they are hanging out with their friends. They are hanging out on the weekends. They are doing the things that they're being asked not to do because they're kids. And the fact that it was brought up that we should keep them in a bubble, that's the most absurd thing I've ever heard in my life. Keeping the bubble situation, okay, if that's what the colleges and the NFLs are having to do, we can't put our kids in a bubble. We have to learn how to live with this situation that we're in. And expecting to keep them in a bubble isn't it. So they're going to be kids. They're going to continue. And these kids are moving out of state. They're going to Ohio. First of all, kids are literally moving. But the kids that aren't moving are traveling to Wisconsin and Indiana and Ohio every single weekend to play these sports because they're going to find a way to play these sports. And the thing is like somebody else mentioned, the kids that won't go out of state are the ones that can't afford it. And the kids who don't have parents who will travel with them. Sorry. When I talk about these kids, I get emotional because the kids that won't be able to travel are the ones that don't have the parents that can do it, and they won't do it if they don't have the money to do it. So I tell you what, if these kids don't get to play sports, we raised over $50,000 in one day in our group on Facebook to take legal action against the state of Michigan. We are moving forward with filing a lawsuit against the state of Michigan. I already have a lawyer. And if this state doesn't move forward and take care of these kids, I will use that money to pay for these kids to go out of state and play sports. I promise you that. Sorry, I didn't, and I'm not directing that towards you.
You're fine, and thank you. And I think it is the law of unintended consequences. When government did this, they thought they were going to stop the spread, but what they're going to do is actually increase it.
Absolutely.
You're going to have people travel more. You're going to have people be more reckless because there's no incentive not to. And there is going to increase disparities between those that have the financial resources to either go to a club sport and go out of state.
And a lot of those kids are our best athletes in Michigan.
Absolutely.
The ones that are going to get left behind are the best athletes.
Absolutely. Representative Brixey.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. I want to thank you guys, especially the kids, for coming here. You guys are clearly coming from a great educational environment. Your comments were very well put together and very well spoken, and you certainly have overcome your any qualms you had about public speaking. You should feel really good because I am a mom, and I am really impressed with the things that you brought to us and have to say to us, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate the talk about the mental health, because the isolation that all of us are going through as a result of this pandemic that has killed, I think, 14,411 people so far. The isolation is really challenging, and I hope that we will be able to work across the aisle and work together to pass the COVID relief that has been introduced so that we can get
Rep, we got to keep this to this committee here. Do you have a question?
Thank you so much for your testimony today.
Right. Thank you guys for being here. Up next, we have Matt Seidel, and we are, I think, about 5 minutes left, so we got to move quick. If Matt could step up, and on deck will be Jen Kozlowski. Matt, if you come up, introduce yourself, and be quick.
I will do that. Thanks for having me. Yeah, definitely, on behalf of Olivet Schools and our student athletes, I want to thank you. But I'm also here, I guess, just speaking for student athletes in general. And I'm going to abbreviate what I was going to say, and I'll try to just kind of wing it a little bit. I want to speak. I have 12 varsity basketball players. I'm the athletic director, dean of students, and head boys basketball coach at Olivet. I have 12 varsity boys basketball players with me right now, and all 12 of them played football. So if I were one of them, I'm going to just share 30 seconds of their experience. They They started the summer playing basketball on blacktop with 90-degree heat with bumblebees buzzing around their head because we couldn't get in the gym. Then they got into football season, and they bonded with their football team. They went a full week, and then they got shut down, absolutely crushed. And in Olivet, that's a big deal. High school football is a huge deal. They thought they were going to get pushed to the spring. Miraculously, it saved, and they get to play. And it wasn't Friday Night Lights like we know it, but they were grateful for the season that they had. And then we get excited about basketball. The day before we're scheduled to start on November 16th, we get shut down again. And it's happened 3 times now. We went 2 months of inactivity with kids. No activity. That was structured. Virtual contact only with a coaching staff. Finally, we get the okay to have non-contact basketball practices starting January 16th with the idea that we're going to play real basketball on February 1 and be able to compete on February 4. Not ideal, but it's something. And then Friday comes, and we had a 12 noon practice because we had a half a day. And I get the news after the press conference. I'm 58 years old. I haven't been that angry since I was probably 12, it felt like. I didn't tell them before practice. I told them after. And the range of emotions was unbelievable. I mean, I got some hot-headed kids, the anger, the frustration, but we've also had the depression and just they just dumbfounded despair, you name it. The one emotion that was shared by all of them, though, was the feeling of just total unfairness. And the part, it's hard for them. They point to the fact that, 80% of the states in our country are playing their sport, basketball, and other winter sports, but we're not. Why is our state interpreting data different than, the rest of the country, or most of the rest of the country? That was one of them. Also, the idea of they tolerated the pause in November because of the spike that was coming because of the holidays. But they were also told, or at least they believed, that once the numbers trended downward, that they were going to get a chance. And they're trending downward. And I'm not a doctor, but I can read. And they're definitely trending downward. And they're still not getting this chance. And it's just like I said, it's unbelievable. I told them I was coming today, and I might have a chance to speak. And I talked to most of them, but I said, if you got something you want me to say, just send it to me, text it to me. I get home, I have 7 emails in my inbox already. And I'm not going to read all these to you, but I'm going to read a couple comments to you. Basketball means so much to me, and to just have that ripped away hurts terribly. Another one, when I first heard the news Friday, my heart just sank, and I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. I felt like, what is the point of even playing this year? It was hard to come back to practice on Monday. Another one, when I see pictures and videos of my cousins in different states playing basketball, it's like salt in the wound. Another one, I've pretty much lost hope, and I also feel like we're being treated unfairly. I feel like it's crazy that 20% of the states aren't playing basketball right now, and we're one of them. So, I'm going to
cut you off here because we're going to try to see if we can squeeze one more person in here.
Yes, you can.
If Jen Kozlowski could testify real briefly, I think we got about a minute and a half. Not trying to rush you, not trying to be rude.
Thank you much.
But I think this will probably be our last person. To all the student athletes that came today, thank you for being here. I apologize on behalf of the state of Michigan. You guys deserve better than what you've gotten. If you could keep your testimony in 1 minute.
You got
I'm going to have to cancel committee at that point. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Jen Kozlowski. My husband and I are the proud parents of 4 young men from Rockford, Michigan. I'm here today because one of my sons has given up. He's hit his breaking point. He's done, defeated, deflated. Josh is a senior student athlete at Rockford High School. He just finished what turned out to be a marathon but stellar football season. Talk about a lesson in patience, perseverance, submission, cooperation, and everything else these athletes had to endure to be able to first play, then finish their season. I won't elaborate on the highs and lows. I think we've already heard a lot about that. Josh agreed to all of the safety protocols put into place, including being tested for COVID 3 times per week, just to be able to play. The administration and athletic staff did an amazing job of ensuring that the athletes and staff were gathering safely following all prescribed protocols. Normally, Josh would have jumped right into his wrestling season the week after football, but last Friday was his breaking point. When our governor announced yet another delay for high school winter contact sports, Josh decided he didn't have it in him to fight any longer. He said he's tired of having to fight for something he shouldn't even have to fight for. That's why I'm here, to fight for him and every other Michigan student athlete. I'm his voice now. Instead of cheering him on at the top of my lungs from the sidelines, I'm using my voice to facilitate change. We already heard all the statistics. Fall sports proved that they could compete safely. The data proves it, 99.8% negativity rate. Why is MDHHS not using that data?
All right, I'm going to have to stop you there.
Okay.
We are at our time limit. We have a lot of people still here to testify. I apologize. We had over 2,500 emails regarding this. They will be officially read into the record. We will be meeting again next week, probably regarding the vaccine rollout. But thank you guys for coming. With that, the committee is adjourned.